Cece, this has been the off-season of duos, of superstars pairing up seemingly around the NBA. But let's focus on these two. What makes these two fit together so well?
I think that the way that they were introduced to the basketball world in high school, neither one of them big-time recruits, one of them north of Los Angeles, the other one southwestern side of California, outside of L.A., not the big schools, not UCLA, Arizona, and all the big-time schools trying to recruit them. And then their journey into the NBA starts off very, very slow. But Paul George mentioned something I thought was interesting to me was after his first year, the Pacers drafted Kawhi Leonard. He said he was terrified. He was like, man, there seems to be some confusion here. And then Kawhi gets traded to San Antonio. He said, but they started watching each other long before that because there was a high school basketball game. They were playing one after another. And that was the first time that they were able to see each other, even though they didn't strike up a relationship. They've talked over the last couple years. Kawhi's journey when he got traded from San Antonio, they talked about how he should approach it and everything. So their skill sets and their personalities match up, and they've been admiring each other from afar for a long period of time. So when you have that type of situation where one guy is saying, I don't care about being the guy, and Nick, you talk about it all the time, man, amongst these NBA players, it's important to them who's the best player,
who's getting the credit,
and what people say. So for me, I think from a personality fit, Kawhi to me is the most desirable player to play with because he has the least amount of ego and he can get his own shot. He's going to play great defense. You're not going to have any problems with him.
It's low maintenance.
That part, it's inviting that I don't have to worry about trying to put out fires and worrying about some type of drama. I can just worry about on the basketball court because the season in itself is tough enough. So I just believe their personalities, their journey in basketball, they've been admiring each other from afar, and now they had the opportunity to be able to come together, and the Clippers pulled it off, and Lawrence Frank and the rest of that front office by bringing Paul George there. Paul George was excited to be able to play with Kawhi.
So here's where I've landed on this. I don't think this is the perfect duo, but I do think Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are the types of players, low maintenance, does not have to have the ball in their hands at all times, will play great defense, that archetype fits well with every other type of player. Meaning this, if Kawhi Leonard was paired with any other superstar in the league, he'd be just about the perfect fit, right? Like, that's kind of the point you're making, is that Kawhi fits well with everyone because he's low maintenance, because he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands, because he can take over games, doesn't have to take over games. Paul George is, in a lot of ways, basketball-wise, just a slightly worse version of Kawhi Leonard. So there is some redundancy there, but it's redundant, not redundancy like with Russ and Harden, where you're really worried about, well, what are you going to do when you don't have the ball? Who is going to have the ball in their hands late in games? Now, with redundancy, though, means also there is something where they are weak, they are both weak, meaning neither one of these guys is a great playmaker. Neither one of these guys ever has been elite at getting other teammates involved. They've been elite at defense and elite at scoring from all three levels, turned into elite scorers at all three levels. So I think Paul George is an excellent fit next to just about anyone, and Kawhi Leonard's an excellent fit next to literally anyone. And so, of course, they fit well together, but because of the similarities, that's the only reason that I think the public might be a touch too optimistic about the Clippers, because where they are similar, they are also similarly deficient, even if it's only in a few areas.
But what's the perfect fit in basketball now? You would typically say a guy like Magic Johnson, when he came and was able to take the basketball with the Los Angeles Lakers, they had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. To me, that was the perfect fit. Besides that, tell me a perfect fit in basketball. Tell me, because the positions are so interchangeable now. To me, unless they're both shooting guards, to me, there really is no perfect fit. If you look at all the players that we have, look, I mean, where is there a perfect fit now in basketball? I believe the fit that they have is just as good because of age, personality, and the things they're going to provide for their teammates. So for me, they are a perfect fit because they do so many things that if you're their teammate, That's the kind of teammate that you want. It goes beyond just basketball skills.
And isn't it also the fact that they are two of the best two-way players in the league? Doesn't that in and of itself make them such a good fit?
Well, that makes the Clippers a great defense, and that's why both of these guys are the type of player that anyone would want to play with. I don't think there's a player in the league that wouldn't want to play with Kawhi Leonard, and there's not a player in the league that wouldn't want to play with Paul George, because they are going to more than handle their responsibilities on defense, and you can rely on them for super high-level scoring. And I agree with you that, okay, so they're 1 year apart in age. They are both right in the heart of the prime of their career. The low-maintenance thing matters. All of that I totally agree with, but I think because these are two guys that are so similar, and because they are two guys that do something that a lot of star players don't do anymore at a super high level, which is give such effort on the defensive end. People respect that. People almost admire okay, so you're going to play both ends of the court while you're out there. That when they came together, they instantly became the Vegas favorites. They were talking NBA GM or coach survey, 65% of them picked the Clippers to win the title. That might be a touch strong for me, but I think they're a perfect fit because these two guys are individually a great fit along any other great player because of the type of player they are.
I think those general managers also saw the fit with that roster, how they have a lack of ego on that roster. Now they have their two best players that don't have the ego that we see with other players. And also, they happen to have a championship coach. Also, they have an owner that's committed to winning. He said it yesterday. I'm about that Larry O.B., man. He said, Kawhi, it's the first time I ever heard that. He said, but everything from here on out is going to be about getting the Larry O.B. So I think there's other things that people are looking at, but when you have two superstars and both of them are unselfish, I don't care that some of their skills are redundant. It don't matter. They're going to score at a high level. The part you're worried about, the Clippers, but also those teammates, when you show up to the gym, there is no better tandem than those two, because if they're not going offensively, they're going to give it to you defensively, which is going to go throughout the rest of that roster. I believe that the general managers who are saying that that's the fit, that's what they're seeing.
And it's going to be interesting to see. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.